All right, okay, something new for today. Coming through with something new, massive value with no delay, as I would say. So you got to give thanks in every way. Give thanks for life, health and strength, vibe coding, agentic orchestration, and the new one is loops. Talking about loops, that's what this video is about. And loops have quickly gone from just loops to now loop engineering, loop maxing, all different types of loops. So I'm going to break it down in this video. Everybody online this week is saying the same thing. Throw an AI agent in a loop, walk away, and then just get rich. A lot of hype. I tried it on my actual business, and there's one thing nobody is telling you that decides whether a loop makes you money or lights it on fire. So, the setup. People are done just chatting with AI. Well, people are starting to. I'm still seeing a lot of people out there who are just using AI for chat. I'm trying to help them. That's a big part of what I'm doing. It is working. Now it's all about the loops. Letting the AI agent run on its own, do the work, keep going until it's done. So even the guy who leads Claude Code has said that loops are as big a jump as going from writing code to using the agents. That's major. So the honest angle, it's powerful, but the hype is missing the one rule that actually matters. And I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you on something real. So, this goes back into the whole point of the 0 to 1 million challenge, building in public, real businesses, real problems, all on camera. So, breaking down the real problem. Here's the thing nobody says a loop needs to know when it's done. There's got to be a finish line. If there's no finish line, the AI just runs forever, spinning, burning tokens. People are literally turning cloud bills into nothing because of this. There's even a name for this mistake now. People call it loop maxing. Here's the kicker most stuff we vibe code has no finish line at all. My own dashboard for my marketing has 0 tests so far. However, for the projects, I do have tests running, so I have set this stuff up without a loop, and I know that stuff can be done without a loop, and loops just make it so that it's built in a different way with the agent running the tests, and that's it's like essentially a better way. It's evolving. I'm seeing the evolution of this agentic orchestration, vibe coding, whatever you want to call it. So step one is not running the loop. It's building the finish line. It's got to have a metric. It's got to know when it's done. That prevents the loop maxing where it just runs and runs forever and runs up a bill. So what am I building? All right. I have got my personal brand and I am starting to get emails, offers, brand offers. They're coming in. And I don't want to read every single one or get talked into a bad deal. There's a lot of research that needs to go into pretty much every brand offer. Some of them is obvious from the start. So what I'm doing is I'm building a tool that reads an offer and tells me, is this offer real? Is it in my lane? Is the money fair? Should I even reply to this at all? So this is like the boring but honest part. The stuff a computer can check for sure, I can automate. The judgment call, it's my brand, worth my name. I keep it for myself. That's the whole lesson. There's still got to be the human, there's still got to be the judgment call, but it's getting to the point where, AI can do like 99% of the work. The 1% judgment call is usually the most important. All right, so you can see what I have open right now, and this is the test. Essentially, I've given it a test with test offers, and there's 10 different test offers. Can scroll through real quick, just like the most common offers I would get. And, if I do get an offer that is outside of any of these offers, then I can add rules to it over time. But before I let any AI loose, I want to write down what good looks like. So these are the tests: a clean paid deal, a low ball, got a spammy blast, a crypto pump, that's not in my lane, a phishing scam dressed up as a sponsorship. And these are kind of similar to a lot of the offers I've gotten so far. So far, I would have to say like 8 out of the 10 offers that I get are offers that are hype that look really good, but when I like do the research, then it's really not something I would want to be have anything to do with. So next to each test, the verdict is going to be what it should get. So this is the finish line. The AI is not allowed to touch this file because a loop that can move its own finish line always cheats. So right now, I have not started the test yet, but I'm about to. Here we go. So I'm going to paste this prompt into Claude, get it started. Essentially, loop implement. It's got to start with a slash loop if it's going to be a loop. And it's going to implement these analytics from this test file until every test passes. Each iteration, run the CD analytics and npm test, read the failures, edit only what's in this file, never edit the test file, then rerun. Stop when all 10 tests pass, then commit. Hard stop after 12 iterations. So there is another file that was kind of a test file to set this up. I'm not going to get into that, it's not important. And this might have been kind of like, a little bit more than I needed to do, but I'm just new to learning loops, so I want to make sure that I'm like over delivering, just have a better idea of like catching any like kind of use cases that it would be for that I might not have thought of. So now I'm just going to let it run. It writes the rules, checks itself against my finish line, fixes what's broken, and then it'll go again. Nobody in the middle. That's the loop. Originally, I would have had to give it manually without a loop each one of these different tests so it could have a like good idea of how this works, and I would have to manually feed it the next test. But this is much easier on my part. If I wanted to, I could just walk away and do something else and come back, but I'm not going to do that right about now. All right, the tool is built. 10 out of 10, committed. Built it myself to my spec. Now the fun part, I'm going to paste in a real offer and let it do its job. Make sure it's working correctly. So I'm going to find an email. Essentially, it's saying like, hope the week is going really well. The person's name from the company of TechDo. And just reading this over, it seems like it's a very generic tool. Essentially, it's for making shorts from videos, and there's a ton of tools like this. And I would have to go and like research the actual, thing, the tool, and see how it's different and everything like that. But I'm just gonna paste the email into Claude. I'm gonna hit enter, and essentially I could upgrade this in the future to have Claude actually manage my emails. But I think it'd be easier to do that with an agent instead of that. But that's like a build on top of this. This is the first part to that overall process. All right, so two of the best things about this is it ran really quick and it barely used any tokens. So here is the rules that were caught. It's in my lane, but there's no money on the table. They didn't name a number. They're asking me for a number. Okay, so the first thing I noticed what they caught was that whoever built this, whoever designed this email, like made some mistakes. Like it's a template and they didn't put much time and effort into like making it look legit. So that right there like lets me know, okay, I'm not dealing with like a very professional group here. And then when I'm looking at what they're doing, essentially this is something that anybody can do. They're not giving me a very good offer. Seems like they want, they're not giving me a win-win offer. They're giving me an offer where they get most of they're going to get most of the benefit, and they're not even giving me like a number. So this looks like a really bad deal to me. I don't need to do any more research. This basically just probably saved me a good like 20 to 30 minutes of research work. And I built the tool to do this and ran the first email way quicker than the time it would have taken me just to do the research. So, the lessons I've learned so far from loop maxing, here's what nobody's telling you. A loop is only as smart as its finish line. If a machine can check it, pass, or fail, you can automate it and walk away. That's where loops are gold. If it takes real judgment, like is this brand worth my name? I don't need to loop that. I got to keep it. And that's the end of this, the real judgment. That came up to me. That's the line between a loop that works and loop maxing that burns your money. So knowing your worth is the finish line a machine can't draw for you. Abundance means I can pass on a deal because there's always going to be another one coming. The AI screens and I decide. So, this is exactly how I'm building the whole business. Let AI handle the parts that can be checked, keep my energy for the parts that need a human. So, I would have to say, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm coming through with new information steady. Make sure you follow along with the challenge. Jump on the stream. Any questions or comments, feel free. So that's it for today. Hopefully you got some value off of what I had to say.